Do you live in South Africa and want to get yourself some awesome new gaming products? Well, check out Rebel Tech. They have extremely low prices and stock all the major brands like Asus, MSI, Gigabyte, Corsair, and many more. They also have the new Ryzen Threadrippers in store, and when you purchase any selected Asus ROG monitors, you will get a copy of PUBG for free. So check out the link in the video description to go visit Rebel Tech. What's up everybody, welcome to We Do Tech. So as you guys can see, I've got a different background here than normal. I've got the test bench running and I'm ready to do some tests. I actually got this idea from all of the mining that's going on where the people used USB 3.0 risers to add additional graphics cards to their system. So they would use the USB riser, plug it into their motherboard, which sometimes had up to 18 or 19 I think slots, so they can add up to 19 cards to their motherboard. Usually standard motherboards only have like 1 to 3 PCI-Express 16 slots, so you can only add 3 cards, but with these adapters they take it from USB 1 times to 16, so you can add up to, like I said. So with this motherboard, for example, I can add up to 3 cards, but it only has 2 times 16 slots, so I can add an additional one if I wanted to. But now what I actually want to find out is, do you lose performance when connecting over a USB 3 cable? Is it just how much performance are you going to lose by plugging it into this or directly onto the motherboard? So I don't know how this actually will go. I haven't tested this. It could not work at all. It could work. I don't know how much performance loss there would be, but that's actually what I want to try out now. If it doesn't work, then this is going to be a very short video, but at least you guys will know. And just to be clear, I know this test is kind of useless because you wouldn't really plug in your graphics card to a USB 3 riser if you can just plug it straight onto your motherboard. I know this is a stupid test, but it's something I just want to try out and see if it actually works. Perhaps one day your times 60 slot fails and you only have 1 times left. I don't know, perhaps something like that happens. But yeah, I'm gonna try it out, see the results. Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so for the test bench, it has an i5-3570K running at 3.4 GHz, so no overclock. It has 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance memory running at 1600 MHz, and then for the graphics card, it has a EVGA GTX 980 superclocked. So first off, I'm going to just plug it straight into the motherboard, and then I'm going to run a few games and other benchmarking applications and see what scores I get, and then I'm going to plug it into the the USB 3 riser, and yeah, we're just going to compare the scores and see what I get. I'm pretty excited to see how it actually performs. If there's going to be a loss, if I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, let's quickly test it with the GPU plugged into the motherboard directly. Okay, so as you guys can see, the 980 is plugged into the USB 3 riser. Currently it's on the times 16 slot. I actually want to test it on the times 1 slot as well, just see if that makes any performance difference. So with that being said, let's quickly run it on the times 16. On MSI Afterburner, it is picking up. It's currently a bit hot, the fan isn't really spinning, but it is picking up the megahertz and everything, the core clock, everything is fine. So let's quickly see how it runs in Heaven and then the other benchmarking and games. Okay, so I can already say that it's working, but you're not getting the same performance. I am seeing about a 20 to 50% difference when plugged in, and for some reason the GPU is getting hotter, like crazy hot. Running almost 100 degrees, so I had to put up the fans quite a lot to actually cope with that. It shouldn't, I don't know why it's running that hot. The 980, I know it's a bit of hotter car, but over like almost 100 degrees, that's a bit too much. Also, it did crash the Deus Ex when running that, so it didn't really run that properly. And the first time running Deus Ex as well, I got 9 frames. So that's not good, but the next time it worked fine. So it keeps fluctuating as well. Like one test I get 10 more than the other one, and it's not stable at all. For Hitman Absolution, there's no difference. So I don't know what. I can't see a pattern that actually in some games you get 20% less. Other games you get 0% less. So I'm not entirely sure why that is. Currently it looks fine on Firestrike. We'll see actually how the score looks at the end. But yeah, it's cool to see that it works, and but there is quite a bit of performance loss. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Okay, I'm done with all of the testing. It does seem that you do get quite of a performance loss running it through the USB 3 cable compared to plugging it onto the motherboard directly. Using it with the USB 3 cable on the x16 slot, you get between 20 to 50% loss. But plugging it into the 1x slot, you get like almost literally 50% loss. So I don't know why that is per se. I know the x1 isn't that fast, but it's still, the connector is also a one time. So I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it is interesting to see. I thought that would actually be the same, but it is even lower than running it on the x16 slot. I did reinstall the drivers and everything, and still it didn't want to perform as bad as the x16. Also, when running in test, I did see that the GPU got hotter for some reason. Again, I don't know why that was. When I used it with the x16, I had to bump up the fans to 60%, and then even it reached 80 degrees. And when I plugged it into the x1 slot, I had to bump it up to 70%, and it still reached over 80 degrees. So like I said, the only time you would actually do this is if your PCI 16 time slot dies, which I haven't really heard of it happened. It's usually the entire motherboard, not just a slot, but you never know. Perhaps it could be, and then you don't want to buy a new motherboard. You don't have the cash for that. Just buy a PCI 3 riser. You're gonna lose some performance, but at least you'll be able to play your games. Okay, but again, this was a stupid test. Nobody would really do this. I was just curious to find out if you would get that much more performance loss compared to plugging it onto the motherboard directly. And of course, common sense, you will get a lot of performance loss. USB 3 isn't fast enough to handle all of the data going through the x16 slot. But again, it was just fun to do a test like this, doing something stupid. If you guys like this test, please like, share, subscribe, comment like always. So if you want me to do more stupid tests like this, or just other tests in general, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers, guys.